Hey, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another video. I want to do more of these news videos where I just talk about a random piece of entertainment news. Used to do this back in the day. Wanted to get back into that. For example, Silent Hill. A new movie has been announced by the director Christoph Gans, who did the first Silent Hill film back in the day. And I can't say I'm that excited for it. For people who don't know, I'm a big Silent Hill fan of the games. The original Silent Hill I played on PlayStation 1 way back in the day. I remember, for those who don't know, who were not around back then, back in the day you could go to a store and get magazines that literally had a disc in the magazine, and you could play demos of games. They would have trailers or little opening intro movies, and that's how I first found out about Silent Hill. I got one of these PlayStation games that had a couple demos, and then had at the time it was a creepy looking video, which is the opening sort of music montage of the very first game. Have it on PlayStation 1, still love the game. Yeah, it's dated because of the PlayStation 1 graphics, but I quite enjoy it. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is my personal favorite video game of all time. I love Silent Hill 2 because I love the moody atmosphere that was created in that game. I love how psychological the games are. I like Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 4, I like the story of Silent Hill 4. The problem I have with that game is the difficulty slash combat. Because Silent Hill 4 was not supposed to be a Silent Hill game. They kind of got turned into one. That was the one I always found the most difficult to play, especially if you wanted to get the good ending. Silent Hill 4 just to me was the hardest. And it was hard to really kill anything, because there's these ghosts and you can't kill them. It's just a stupid sword that you put in and they stick there, but then they can play with themselves, and if you allow them to play with themselves long enough, you take the sword if you want, whatever the I like the story. I like a lot of the ideas, so I do like the game overall, but it's just certain things like, because that's, you know what, I would like to see that turn into a movie. I think that would work better as a movie than a game. Because Silent Hill 4 The Room is about a guy who wakes up, he's trapped and locked in his room. The doors won't open. There's all these chains locked to his door from the inside. He pounds on the door. No one outside can hear him. He's locked in this room. And then one day in the bathroom, there's this portal, like a hole in the wall. He goes through, and then goes into like these different realms, and it's all connected by this person who was also in that room ages ago, who's trying to do this ritual. This psycho human who's so fucked up he thinks the room is like the womb of his mother. That's how screwed up the bad guy is. There's some pretty neat, interesting ideas in Silent Hill 4 The Room. Again, make that into a movie, I would be more curious about. And then after that, I didn't play Origins. I liked Downpour and Homecoming for what they were. And if you wonder what that is, that's the heater picking up. But Christoph Gans, the guy who did the first Silent Hill, I was always mixed on in the fact of, I think it's a visually beautiful movie. They got the look of the game right on. The music is from the game, so it had wonderful music. But the look of music and the monsters were cool, but everything else sucked. The characters, you just say, well, in the game, it's a movie. You can make the characters better in a movie if they were not that good in a game. The story, I don't know what the hell the writer, Roger Avery, who wrote that, who helped write with Quentin Tarantino on like Pulp Fiction. And that's a badly written movie. Actors, maybe it's the director as well, where characters gave dialogue in such stilted fashion at times that came off almost as parody. And Christoph Gans, I don't think, realizes the psychological aspects of the Silent Hill games. I really don't. I think this is a guy that looks at that tried to attempt to rationalize adaptations. And that's one of the great things about the Silent Hill games is the psychological stories. It's like, let's take a horror creature feature, but get psychological in the realm of Jacob's Ladder, which was one of the inspirations for Silent Hill. You talk to some of the creators of the game, Jacob's Ladder comes up as an inspiration. I don't think Christoph Gans knows that. That's why in the first movie you have Pyramid Head, which if you play the games, you would know why he would not work in the first game, because the point of Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2 was he was a manifestation of the lead character's guilt, because he killed / murdered his wife, but there was other stuff going on where his wife was so deranged and sick in the head and also just ill, so you could chalk up to mercy killing or sympathy killing, or there's other aspects you could look into other than straight up murder. But overall, it's a guilt. None of this was even hinted on in any of the Silent Hill movies. Just face value. Which, again, they kind of miss a big point of what those Silent Hill games are about. And so now you don't get the same director, Christoph Gans. I mean, maybe you don't get different writers who know what they're doing. But then you even look at the sequel, which, granted, the director had nothing to do with. Silent Hill Revelations 3D was so god-awful. It was a terrible attempt at doing the Silent Hill 3 video game. It looked cheap. They got the whole story wrong to the point that Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix turned into a fucking wannabe Cenobite, it seemed, and got in a wrestling match with Pyramid Head, who was a good guy now. And like, what the fuck is going on? Stick the microphone up your ass and see if you can hear an echo. Called the Jerky Boys and jerked myself off. Might as fucking well. God damn it. So, I mean, I can't really say I have hope for a Silent Hill movie, especially he could get the visuals right, but he needs some people who knew what the hell and what the fuck they were doing. I mean, cast Thomas Jane, either do the first game the right way, or do Silent Hill 2 the right way, or do Silent Hill 4 The Room with Thomas Jane. I mean, but it's hard to really believe in Hollywood. And I'm the guy that likes a couple video game movies. I like Mortal Kombat from '95. I can watch the Super Mario Brothers movie for what it is. I don't mind Doom with The Rock and Carl Urban, although it's not nearly the definitive Doom movie. I like the first Lara Croft Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, but then there's a shitload of bad ones with your Prince of Persias and your Mortal Kombat Annihilations and your Double D's, Double Dragons. Wish they were Double D's. It'd be better to watch than Double Dragon. You can watch on Cinemax or on Pornhub. Double D's. Now I'm thinking of a movie where two women as Double D's just go around and beat people up. The Double D Dragons. Or two dragons that have Double D's and they go beat up. It'd be a fucking furry's wet dream. My point is, there's a lot of bad VOD movies. The percentage is not great on that. That's why I'm not sure about the Sonic movie, although I appreciate the change in design. And then Konami goes, well, we want to make some Silent Hill games, and we're taking advice from fans. Konami, fuck you. Fuck you. Why? You had an opportunity to work with Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, the actor. They did this test game called PT that everyone loved and said was so creepy. And then there's going to be an upcoming game called Silent Hills, and you canceled it. And then you want to know what happened? Boom, Resident Evil 7 comes in, which then becomes a first-person horror game like Silent Hills PT was. Granted, that wasn't a reflection of what the final game would be, but still kind of weird. Silent Hills PT, first-person horror that people loved. You cancel it? Oh, Resident Evil. Let's take that first-person horror, and now we made a big money-making game, which then led into, we're going to do Resident Evil 2 remake, and now Resident Evil 3 remake, the video game. So you canceled that game, PT, Silent Hills, to do a fucking pachinko game. Pachinko. I wouldn't fucking play that if Al Pacino fucking narrated the shit. Well, if Al Pacino narrated a Silent Hill pachinko game as Scarface, yeah, I would play it. I don't know how that would play out, but I'd play it. But seriously. Yeah, now you want to do it now that Resident Evil is making all these hits, which you could have been fucking doing. I mean, do I want a Silent Hill movie to be good? Yes. Do I have hope there will be? No, because why should I? Because the track record hasn't been great. The first Silent Hill movie, visual, musical, solid, A to A+. Story, fucking sucked. It's like people didn't play the fucking games. The pacing, it was like over 2 hours long. Every scene with Sean Bean could have been easily cut out. Just, they couldn't see the forest for the trees with that game. I mean, with that movie. But yeah, I mean, oh, and apparently the director also wants to do a Fatal Frame game. If you don't know what that is, look up. It was a horror game from overseas, taking pictures of ghosts. Fatal Frame. Again, Christoph Gans is the same guy that did Crying Freeman, which I liked. He also did Brotherhood of the Wolf, which I was not a fan of. I like Mark Dacascos until he died in the movie. Then the movie died with him, in my humble opinion. And I don't see why a studio would want to do another Silent Hill movie, since I don't remember the first Silent Hill being that massive of a hit. But I guess it must have made some dime because they did a sequel, but that sequel bombed. And it was in 3D. More like 3 dicks in my face. So yeah, a new Silent Hill movie. What are your thoughts on it? Do you look forward to it? Do you not? What do you think about the Silent Hill games? What do you think about either of those 2 earlier movies? I mean, it'd be nice to see a remake of the first game, Silent Hill, although they kind of did that with Shattered Memories, but I saw a playthrough of that and looked like shit, story-wise. A remake of Silent Hill 2 would be cool. Hell, a remake of Silent Hill 4 The Room and fix some of the aspects would be cool. Do an animated movie. Let's see some CG animated films of Silent Hill. Maybe that'd be interesting. But yeah, don't hold your breath on that. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you in the next video. Later.